Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Rage 2. My name's Camel, and today what I've got for you is a guide for the Nanotrite ability Slam, both location and practicality. Now, Slam for me is the most satisfying Nanotrite ability in the entire game. Rising above your foes, gathering them below you with a gravitational field, sucking them into the soon-to-be impact point of your slamming fist. Now, if you are into this kind of stuff, links to my other Rage 2 guides can be found down in the description, along with links to my social media. Be sure to check all of that out after this slamming video. So firstly, we'll need to actually get the ability. To do this, we'll need to come to the location right here, to the Earth Scar Arc in the top middle of the Torn Plains area. It's only got an enemy difficulty level of 3, so you should have no problem coming here at any point in the game really. Straight from Vinland might be a bit tough, but I'm sure you can handle it. Now, once we arrive here, we will find ourselves in the middle of a firefight between two bandit clans. If you do end up coming here early on, I would suggest staying in Phoenix and mowing down some of the riffraff to make it easier on yourself. But however you want to do it, clear out these blue-haired goofballs and make your way up to the Ark, the big sci-fi looking thing at the top of the hill. Once here, use your focus ability until the door opens up for us. Once it does, head on inside and put your arm into the Nanotrite injector. This will load us into the tutorial for Slam. It's quite simple. To complete, all you need to do is slam stuff. Once that has been done, we will be released back into the wasteland with our new ability Slam. A bunch more goons will have spawned too, so we should have a slamming time with our new ability. But now that we have it, let's take a look at Slam when it's fully upgraded and what that takes. So to unlock all 3 tiers of upgrades, it will cost 1000 Feltrite, 500 to unlock tier 2 and 500 to unlock tier 3. And Feltrite is the blue stuff that you'll get non-stop throughout gameplay, so that should be no problem, but we'll also need 6 Nanotrite boosters, which are used for upgrading Nanotrite abilities. Now, we will primarily obtain these from Arc chests and vendors, but I do have a basics guide for all that stuff if you need help in that department. So firstly, we have cooldown 1. This will reduce the cooldown of Slam from 25 seconds to 20 seconds. We can go from here to cooldown 2, which will reduce it by a further 5 seconds to 15 seconds. Next, we have range 1, increasing the range of Slam's shockwave by 20%. From here, we can go to range 2, which increases it a further 20%, and from here, we can go to range 3, which increases it an even further 20%, resulting in Slam's shockwave range sitting at 160% of the original distance. Next, we have Black Hole 1, the thing inside my soul now, which creates a gravitational singularity, which pulls targets in towards the impact point of Slam. And finally, from here we go to Black Hole 2, the thing I want the new Game of Thrones season to fall into, which increases the black hole's strength and range. So now we have a particle-sucking, ground-cracking Slam ability that we can wreak havoc with across the wasteland of Rage 2. Now, while a lot of people froth on Shatter as their favorite Nanotrite ability, Tim Willits, the game director of Rage 2 included, for me personally, Slam takes the cake. Sure, blasting someone with a quick force push is fun, but when you see that moment, that perfectly formed group of enemies standing close enough together below you, that moment you charge up Slam, levitating above the lesser like a god of death, watching them all get sucked into a pile below your unholy shadow. That moment your fist makes contact with the ground and the surrounding area has its foundations shaken on an atomic level. Bodies and objects flying around you, raining from the sky like you performed a deed fit to be labeled Divine Reckoning. Now that is satisfying, even more so than Shatter. Now, Slam has a 15-second cooldown, and unlike some other Nanotrite abilities, it does not get a second charge. So at the very most, we'll be using Slam every 15 seconds, which in a firefight isn't that often. But Slam sure does its part in tearing whole chunks of enemies from the realm of the living. It's also an amazing ability to open fights with, as there is no cooler entrance than rocketing down from the sky and atomizing your want-to-be attackers. But your overdrive meter will be filled really quickly, with multiple body counts taking you from 0 to 3, 4, maybe even 5 in one fell swoop of your fists. Also, the higher you slam from, the more devastation will be caused. There does seem to be a cap, however, as I dropped from the heavens and it had about the same impact as if I had jumped off a single-story roof. Now, the practicalities of Slam are fairly obvious: flatten and deal with huge numbers of enemies. But Slam doesn't just obliterate the flesh, it will suck in and blow out all other objects. So we can blow up barrels even if they're not sucked up. Even if they're just close enough to the impact site, they will explode. So keep that in mind and try and use it to your advantage. Now, if you do feel so inclined, you can also use Slam to break open rooms full of boxes and crates all at once, instead of having to deal with them individually. You can also use Slam to save yourself from huge falls. Instead of just falling to the ground and hitting the ground and dying, as you get closer to the ground, activate Slam, and this will reset your fall and slam down onto the ground and you'll take no damage. Now, you can also use Slam as a triple jump. If you double jump, you can then activate Slam at the peak of the arc of the second jump, and this will raise you up again, effectively acting as a triple jump. You'll just need to make sure that the impact point of Slam is somewhere you want to go and not just on the ground below you that you were so desperately jumping away from. But if you do double jump and you just can't quite reach the ledge or level you're trying to get to, try double jumping, then activating Slam, and see if you can get where you want to go. I did this a few times and it worked a treat. Now, I did try something else with Slam for about 2 hours, and it wasn't worth it. What was it? Well, it was dropping from the sky onto convoys of vehicles. Now again, I did this for a while and I got one result. I managed to damage a motorbike, knock most of the cars off the road, and there was even a boomer that got wedged in some trees and ended up flipping on its jammed wheel and blowing up. So yes, you can use Slam to attack vehicles. It's not worth it at all, and I would suggest fighting cars with cars and not your fists. Now, despite Slam being absolutely awesome, heavier, armored enemies will not always get jibbed and blown up by Slam, but instead will get knocked back or knocked down, and you should see their armor falling off them as they take more and more damage. And other massive enemies, Slam won't knock them over or disintegrate their flesh like it would to smaller enemies, but it can have a knockback effect on even the largest of enemies, so it still does have some uses. Overall though, Slam is my absolute current favorite Nanotrite ability, slamming your enemies' bodies into a different realm of existence, slamming harder than a good Friday night. Like most things in the game, Slam, like all other slamming, is incredibly satisfying. Here, take a look for yourself.
They're walking into a fucking blender.
Like fish in a barrel.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Camel, and this has been my guide for the Slam Nanotrite ability in Rage 2. I do hope this video helped you out, and if it did, you'll be very interested in checking out my other Rage 2 videos that I've already done. Links to them can be found down in the description. Now, down there in the old description, you can also find links to my social media. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram for incredibly mind-numbing posts. And if you would like to support the channel in a more personal way, you can become a heroic patron on Patreon or a sponsor of the channel right here on YouTube. Or you can just send me semi-precious stones. As I'm sure you know, all of my time and energy goes into making these videos that I create for you to enjoy. So your support is most genuinely appreciated and welcomed in any and all forms. So thank you very much for watching, thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there soon.